Hello, MGTOW. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, I want to ask the question, can women still be wives? Now, I know a lot of MGTOW hearing this question are like, we don't care. But it's an important question because we come from mothers. It's important for the future. So let's get into it. Now, there's no doubt that men will still get together with women and have children. Men are just driven to do that. So no matter what the conditions are, men will do that if they can, if the women will let them. But that's not the question I'm asking here. I'm asking if women, modern women, feminism, can be wives. And I know also that plenty of you are saying, of course they can be, Howard. You know, some of them can be. I know one. I know two. Again, that's not the question that I'm asking here. You know, I'm talking about the prevailing social political conditions. And I'm talking about the nature of women, given our situation. Marriage rates are falling. Men and women are not looking to get married. Men are walking away from marriage. There's nothing in it for the man. Birth rates have been declining. No Western country has sustainable population growth rates. So the question becomes, can women still be wives? As I said, no problem the men getting together with the women physically. Not a huge problem with the women having children either, single mothers. So the state can take care of them, but there's no place for the man to hang around. So I think that's obvious. And there's no reason to tell me, yeah, but Howard, I know some happy couples, that are building families and things like that. Sure, 1 out of 20, where there used to be 20, there's now 1. So as the entitlement of women increases, the women become unbearable to the men. If you use social conventions to compensate for the physical differences between men and women, you've taken away the incentive of men to get together with women. Nobody likes a masculine woman. Nobody likes a little big man, person who really shouldn't be in charge, but for some social convention is in charge. It's not natural. And man is, one of the main characteristics of man is that he can overcome the natural environment. He can overcome natural laws. He can understand natural laws and he can harness them. He can build weapons. He can build tools. He can build bridges. Man does that, as evidenced by the world around you. Women don't really do that. Again, individually, I'm sure that they can, right? I'm sure if a woman wants to apply herself, she can become an engineer. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the general nature and the prevailing social conditions and conventions. Single mothers, supplemented by the state and by the strong institutions of the government, which are gynocentric and serve the women, right? So, and the women want to ignore this. They want to act like they're competing with men on an equal footing. No, you're not. We're actually adjusting the grades of students. We're actually taking the high grades of the smart students and we're marking them down. That's wrong. We're taking the low grades of the ineffective students and we're rising them up. This is what the institutions of the West do. A man has a company and he wants to hire some people to fill the positions in his company. And he wants to get the best people for the job with the right skills, and he's willing to pay them because he's figured it out that he can afford to pay them and that he'll actually make a profit. So he puts an advertisement out looking for people to come work at the company that he's built. And a bunch of people come that are not qualified. They're lying about their experience. They're lying about their qualifications. They can't demonstrate any of the skills which they purport to have. There's no real life examples. In other words, they're a builder, but they can't build, okay? They've been trained to be a programmer, but they can't write any programs. They can't produce any code. And the man is forced to hire those people because of affirmative action, because of the social conventions. Do you see that the natural law, which is, that the man is going to hire the person who's most qualified for the job so that he can get ahead and his company can grow and so that he can make a profit, because that's what his company is for. I know some of you are even thinking, a lot of men, they don't even understand what's going on here at all. A lot of them are thinking, well, his company exists to give me free stuff so that I can enjoy myself. It's like, no, grow up. You're being a little boy. Nothing exists to serve you. I'm sorry, okay? These are enterprises. These are works of men. They have purpose. They are sustainable. They are an exchange of value. There is no sympathy. There's nothing like that. But you force that in there. You say, no, you've got to do the right thing according, to these conventions. And it's like, well, you'll destroy the working parts of the company. And the answer is yes. Indeed, that's exactly what they'll do. Understand that the end result of a person who wants unearned resources, whether it's a woman or a man, the end result, if you allow that to take place, if you adopt this socialist mindset, and I'm not talking about within a family, I'm not talking about with the people you love, I'm not talking about the friends whose backs you want to protect sometimes. I'm talking about this is forced by the state, okay, that the entire purpose of your civilization is turned towards taking care of people who don't want to take care of themselves. And when you present this argument to them, you know what they say? They say, you're a bad man, Howard Dare. How dare you say that? How dare you tell the truth? We refuse to accept this responsibility. We will accuse you of every social, moral, ethical crime to drive you out of the group, because that's what they do. So you understand how the women, the weak men, the children, the men who refuse to grow up, that just hold on to that female, boyish, dependent mindset. The people who don't want to compete in an open market, in a free market, because it's very difficult. The people who want that free job. The people who don't even want the job, they just want the welfare. And they even think that they're entitled to it, right? You can understand that too, right? If they're raised by a single mother, she's going to raise the young man to think he's entitled to be taken care of by the state or just by someone. And he refuses, and the women refuse to see that the someone who's taking care of them is the free man. They evade that question. They evade that knowledge. So it's like, oh, no, it's just a small percentage of the national budget. And it's like, no, it's the payroll taxes. You don't understand. You're actually hiding the truth from yourself as to what's going on here. It's the payroll taxes that they're taking from the working men and women of the lower classes that are paying the day-to-day bills. Understand that. It's the opportunities around those people that are being sold out and not fulfilled so that you can fulfill the wants and the needs of the single mothers and the dependents. So the entire focus of the civilization is shifted over to these people. And they think, they come to believe that that's just the way the world is. And they never want to look at the truth that, no, you are taking the payroll taxes from the working people to cover this day-to-day expense. That's what they're doing. So don't ever believe any of, that bullshit. It's like, oh, I pay more taxes than you do. It's like, no, day to day, they take more from the people who have less. I hope you, and then they pay the bills, and then they pay themselves. And then they virtue signal. And then they shame the hardworking, honest people into going along with it using social guilt and virtue signaling. Because they're certainly not capable of doing the hard work. Now, in that setting, can a man take a wife? The answer is absolutely not. He's taking on a dictator. He's taking on a tyrant. You understand that? He's taking on a tyrant that's not going to work and that's going to emotionally abuse him endlessly. And that's the pressure. That's what's expected of a man. The young man is being trained constantly and groomed constantly. And these beliefs and social conventions are reinforced and mirrored throughout all of the social institutions, that this is what he's going to do. And if he doesn't, he's not a real man. He's not a real man. He has to bow his head in shame and walk away. And just so you're aware, tournament mating species, oftentimes when they lose, they don't just walk away and lose. They walk away and they die. That's how real the physiological connection is, the natural law is when dealing with men. So this is what happens when the civilizations grow big, they grow strong. They turn the focus the interest, the values of the, what that built the civilization, to the wants and to the needs of the women, the dependents, a welfare class, a resentful class that can't compete in the marketplace that created the civilization. So if you're one of these people who has to compete in the civilization and be productive, do you want to take on someone from this dependent class that actually thinks that they're above you, can rule over you, using social shame, and be a household domestic servant to them, where you've written a contract with the state, who has a complete monopoly on the use of force? It's an arrangement with the woman and the state to legally enslave the man, and he gets none of the advantages of being married. In other words, he's not taking on a wife. He doesn't have a wife that will now raise his children and take care of his home. No, he has a lord and master over him that has the power of the state for her to extract resources from. That's what marriage has become for men in this day and age. So no, a man cannot take on a wife. There are no wives available, okay? There's females that want to get married, and there's males who want to get together with women and make children. But a man cannot and should not take on a wife. Now, maybe there is one woman out there, maybe there is a woman that you've met where you think you can do something like this. I'm not saying you can't do what you think you should do. I'm not saying that. I'm saying understand the situation. Understand female nature. Understand the risks that you would be taking if you made a decision like that. And then you're a man. You decide. That's called freedom, okay? And any man who tries to take that away from you, you get away from that man, okay? You don't listen to that man. That's not a man. That's a boy. That's, a young man with a female mind. That's someone who wants to be taken care of. That's someone who wants to use social guilt and manipulation to get a working person to take care of them. That's how I see it. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. And please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate. And join me again, Howard Dare, as I plan to have more content for you. Thank you, MGTOW.